So, Freunde, da bin ich wieder. So, tickert mal kurz in den Chat rein, wie ihr die Zahlen aufgenommen habt. Was habt ihr da rauslesen können? Ich habe hier schon wildes Spekulieren und in den Chat schreiben gesehen. Mal leise hier. Wie habt ihr die Zahlen aufgenommen? Ich muss gestehen, sie sind doch schlechter, als ich eigentlich gedacht habe, zumindest auf Basis des vierten Quartals. Wir gehen da jetzt kurz mal rein, bevor Adam Aron hier mit seiner Show anfängt. Und ihr dürft jetzt hier gerne einmal, bevor wir loslegen, den Like-Button hitten dafür, dass wir hier einfach einen Marathon durchziehen. Würde ich mich freuen, wenn ihr das Ganze einmal supportet. So. Gehen wir kurz rein. Also, nur um hier vielleicht kurz einmal meine bescheidene Meinung hier kundtun zu dürfen. Wir haben hier zumindest auf Basis des vierten Quartals ein deutlich schwächeres viertes Quartal als noch im Jahr zuvor. Es ist ein bisschen besser als das dritte Quartal 2022. Aber das ist hier eher ein Tropfen auf heißen Stein. Und wenn wir das so betrachten, ja, einfach aus der Brille, aus der realistischen Brille, so wie es ist, denn haben die Zahlen hier leider nicht überzeugt. Und ich weiß nicht, wo der ein oder andere das EPS von 14 raus hat. Ich komme hier auf ein EPS von 26, also Earnings per Share von 26. Ich glaube, ihr habt hier die Diluted EPS genommen. Das ist nicht, kann man nehmen, ja, dann hat man eine schönere Zahl, aber ich glaube, die Askeier werden sich nicht auf das Diluted EPS stürzen. Wir gucken jetzt gleich mal in die Zahlen rein und dann vergleichen wir gerne mal. Und ihr dürft hier gerne einfach auch mal in den Chat schreiben, wie ihr das Ganze seht. So, wo habe ich denn jetzt hier den Browser? Juti, dann lass uns mal kurz reinstarten. Wenn der Earnings Call losgeht, dann mache ich den Sound an, mache mein Mikro aus, damit ihr keine Rückkopplung habt. Dann könnt ihr mir kurz Bescheid geben, ja, ob das alles passt mit dem Ton. Also, wir sehen jetzt zumindest, dass das komplette Jahr 2022 ein sehr starkes Jahr war. Die gesamte Einnahmen beliefen sich hier auf 3,911 Milliarden US-Dollar, verglichen mit dem Jahr 2021 von 2,527 Milliarden US-Dollar. Der Verlust hat sich auch ein wenig reduziert auf 973, eigentlich lustig, dass man das so sagen muss, aber 973 Millionen Verlust, nur in Anführungsstrichen, hat sich ein bisschen reduziert. Also zumindest auf Jahressicht gesehen war dieses Jahr doch schon stärker als das letzte Jahr. Wenn wir uns hier das vierte Quartal anschauen, dann sehen wir, dass wir hier nur leicht erhöhte Einnahmen im Vergleich zum Vorquartal haben, das dritte Quartal. Wenn wir hier mal kurz reinschmulen, haben wir Einnahmen von 968,4 Millionen US-Dollar und im vierten Quartal waren es 990,9 Millionen US-Dollar. So, also hier haben wir eine kleine Steigerung, aber es ist immer noch unter den Erwartungen von 1,05 Milliarden US-Dollar. Da hat wohl Avatar nicht lang genug Zeit gehabt, um wirklich Geld in die Kinokassen zu spülen, aber dafür werden wir wahrscheinlich dann ein stärkeres erstes Quartal sehen mit den Umsätzen, die dort generiert worden sind. Der Verlust hat sich hier zumindest auf Sicht des gleichen Zeitraumes im Vorjahr auch erhöht, ja, was auch nicht geil ist. Der nächste Punkt, das ist das, wo ich halt auch drauf schaue. Wir gehen jetzt einfach gleich direkt mal hier in den Bericht rein. So, hier sehen wir zumindest das EBITDA von Adjusted EBITDA 2021 sind wir hier positiv. Das war im letzten Quartal, also im dritten Quartal, noch nicht der Fall. Ja, da haben wir ein negatives EBITDA gehabt, also einen Verlust geschrieben. Was ich hier ein bisschen schwierig finde, was so ein bisschen auch die schlechteren Umsatzzahlen untermauert. Schaut euch mal hier an, die Besucher, die AMC im dritten Quartal hier hatte, waren 53,177 Millionen, also 353 Millionen Gäste waren im dritten Quartal, das ist richtig. Und im vierten Quartal waren es dann an der Stelle nur 49,584 Millionen Gäste, die den Weg ins Kino gefunden haben. Also ihr seht, es ist schon, das vierte Quartal war schon ein bisschen schwierig. Also jetzt bleibt eigentlich nur abzuwarten, was Adam Aron hier noch zu kommunizieren hat. Wenn wir aber hier mal gucken, wir gehen mal weiter runter. So, damit das dann auch wirklich einmal korrekt ist. Hier, schaut mal bitte. Ja, diluted Loss per Share sind eben hier 26 Cent pro Aktie, die hier im vierten Quartal als Verlust zu Buche schlagen. Ja, also das ist die Zahl, die für uns relevant ist an der Stelle. So, jetzt wollten wir nochmal schnell gucken. So, Cash and Cash Equivalents, 631,5 Millionen US-Dollar sind noch in der Kriegskasse. Und deswegen, das ist genau der Punkt. Ja, jetzt müssen wir halt einfach hier wirklich mal schauen. Dass hier entweder langsam mal gute Zahlen geschrieben werden, also dass positive Quartale hier einmal gemeldet werden, damit die Kriegskasse nicht so in Mitleidenschaft gezogen wird. Oder auf der anderen Seite brauchen wir halt die Dilution. Deswegen, beziehungsweise dieses Event, ja, das hatten wir ja jetzt hier schon kommuniziert. Wenn hier AMC out of cash ist, auch das hat ja Adam Aron schon kommuniziert, dass ein Unternehmen mit ein paar Millionen auf der Bank eigentlich nicht mehr führbar ist. Ja? Also ihr seht, die Cash-Reserven schmelzen nur so dahin. Und wenn man sich eben einmal vor Augen hält, dass hier doch noch ein ganz schöner Cash-Burn stattfindet, ja, 287 Millionen US-Dollar gemeldet an Verlusten, ja, Net Loss. Und im letzten Quartal waren es eben 226,9 Millionen. Also vielleicht auf Jahressicht gute Zahlen, aber wenn wir ehrlich sind, Quartalszahlen sind hier leider ein bisschen mager ausgefallen. Ist wahrscheinlich auch so ein bisschen der makroökonomischen Situation geschuldet, dass die Menschen natürlich auch ein bisschen gucken müssen, wo sie ihr Geld am Ende lassen oder halt auch nicht lassen. Ja? Das ist, glaube ich, schon ein Faktor, den man nicht außer Acht lassen sollte. Was aber hier auch ein bisschen, ich weiß nicht, ob das positiv ist, ja, die weniger Menschen, die ins Kino gekommen sind, haben aber dafür ein bisschen mehr Geld für Essen und Getränke und so weiter ausgegeben. Wenn wir jetzt hier mal schauen, Food and Beverage waren 333,3 Millionen US-Dollar an Einnahmen, die hier noch generiert worden sind. Das war das Quartal. 333,3 im dritten Quartal. Und im vierten Quartal Food and Beverage 331. Das heißt also, hier ist nicht ganz so ein starker Verlust entstanden, wenn man jetzt einfach vor Augen hält, dass weniger Menschen den Weg ins Kino gefunden haben, aber der gleiche Output sozusagen an den Kassen, ja, mit Popcorn, Nachos und so weiter erzielt worden ist. Könnte auch einfach daran liegen, dass wahrscheinlich die Preise einfach angehoben worden sind. Ich glaube, auch die Inflation macht vor AMC nicht unbedingt Halt. Ja, also alles in allem habe ich mir inständig gewünscht, dass Avatar noch so ein bisschen raushaut, aber dafür haben in diesem Jahr einfach die Kinohits gefehlt. Ja? Wir haben ja alle irgendwie damit gerechnet, dass das Quartal so ein bisschen Überraschungen bereithalten wird, aber eine negative Überraschung an der Stelle hätte ich mir nicht gewünscht. Aber egal, am Ende des Tages wissen wir, wie die Situation ist. Ja? Und ich glaube, wie das Ganze hier gelöst werden kann, das wissen wir auch. Wir müssen jetzt halt einfach nur geduldig sein und abwarten. Es sei denn, irgendjemand glaubt noch daran, dass AMC hier nichts mehr gerissen bekommt und pleite geht. Dürft ihr gerne mal in den Chat schreiben, ob ihr denkt, dass das der Fall ist oder nicht. So. Hallo, der will von Nachos. So. Hätten sie mal die Lindenstraße in den USA gelauncht, ja, dann wäre die Kinokasse voll gewesen. Krone richten, hoddeln und weiter geht's. Ja, mehr bleibt uns nicht übrig, aber ich glaube, dass wir zumindest auf Sicht jetzt für die nächsten Quartale wirklich mal ein paar positive Überraschungen sehen werden, denn wir hatten ja gerade mit Avatar, der ja wirklich richtig gut Geld in die Kassen gespült hat, haben wir hier einen Blockbuster, der leider im letzten Jahr wirklich nur nicht mal 2 Wochen hatte. Ja. Und dass da trotzdem noch so viel zusammengekommen ist bei den wenigen wirklich Kinohits, die im Jahr 2022 rausgekommen sind, sind, glaube ich, knapp 1 Milliarde Umsatz. Jetzt erstmal gar nicht so verkehrt, ja. Aber zumindest wissen wir, dass das, was jetzt generiert worden ist an Umsätzen, für die nächsten Quartale umso besser wird. Ja, sind ja doch ein paar gute Filme rausgekommen und jetzt mit Ant-Man und John Wick und alles, was da jetzt wirklich an guten Kinohits jetzt noch kommt, wird, glaube ich, einfach auch dafür Sorge tragen, dass AMC endlich mal das bekommt, was es verdient, nämlich Geld in die Kriegskasse. Ja? Bin ein bisschen enttäuscht von den Zahlen, muss ich gestehen. Hätte mir mehr gewünscht, aber ich glaube, Adam Aron wird dazu vielleicht auch noch mal ein bisschen mehr sagen. Nichtsdestotrotz, auf Jahressicht sind das schon gute Steigerungen. Aber Quartal war ich ein bisschen traurig, muss ich gestehen. So, jetzt wollen wir mal gucken, was ihr hier so schreibt. Wenn es dann losgeht, wie gesagt, mache ich den Ton an. Ihr seid bitte so lieb und liked das Ganze einmal, ja, dass die AMC-Gemeinschaft hier in Deutschland Bescheid weiß, dass wir das hier live streamen. Und wenn ihr noch irgendwelche Fragen habt, dann stellt sie bitte gerne hier rein. @Mika, 3 Gorillas, dann weiß ich, dass ich gemeint bin. Wenn ihr noch irgendwie, was erklärt haben wollt oder vielleicht nochmal meine Meinung zu irgendwas hören wollt. So. Gabelwerfer TV, hoffentlich Merger mit Cinemark. Es kommen gute Filme dieses Jahr, schreibt Adin Gage. Gabelwerfer TV, Cinemark war schon auf der Merch-Seite von AMC die Woche. Danke, Mika, für den, erstens, danke für den Stream. Zweitens, lasst mal ein Like da. Danke. Drittens, geht in den nächsten Wochen einfach mal mehr ins Kino und pusht den Umsatz. Viertens, Walmart Popcorn wird auch poppen. Das glaube ich auch. So, Indiana Jones, John Wick, schreibt Eichhoff, Ingo K., der bereinigte Verlust lag bei 14 Cent pro Aktie. Die von Factsheet befragten Analysten hatten einen bereinigten Verlust von 21 Cent pro Aktie erwartet. Der Umsatz sank auf 990 Millionen Dollar von 117 Millionen Dollar. Factset befragten Analysten hatten 977 Millionen erwartet. Indie wird interessant, weiß ich nicht. Ja, der JP wird 7. Guardians of the Galaxy, glaube ich, wird auch nochmal eine gute Geschichte. Ja, mal gucken, ob hier schon irgendwas passiert. Na? War schon was? Nee, ne? Nee. So, wenn wir schlechte Zahlen haben, dann können sie nächstes Jahr nur besser werden. Kann auch noch besser werden, so sieht's aus. Manta Manta. Over the top. So. So, es gibt auf jeden Fall ein paar gute Filme. Ich glaube, Adam Aron wird dazu eben halt auch was sagen, denn es ist halt einfach schwierig für ein Kino, ja, was in erster Linie logischerweise von dem Zeigen von Kinofilmen lebt, ja, gar keine Chance hat, Kinofilme zu zeigen, weil einfach zu wenig produziert werden. Ja. Also ich glaube, dass es schon wichtig ist, dass wir das verstehen, dass wir zumindest auf ein Vor-Pandemie-Niveau kommen, ja, dass dort wieder auch Hollywood motiviert ist, die Filme so zu produzieren. Wie gesagt, schwierige Zeit, schwierige Situation und dafür muss man aber auch klar sagen, dafür, dass die Situation einfach gerade so verfahren ist und immer noch nicht auf alten Höchstständen funktioniert, sind die Zahlen jetzt nicht verkehrt. Ja? Also ich glaube, jeder kann sich von uns noch daran erinnern, als da irgendwie lustige 3,5 Euro Umsatzzahlen standen, weil einfach Quartale lang das Kino zu war. Ja? Also da sind wir jetzt zum Glück weg. Und jetzt gilt es halt einfach, und deswegen wird einfach echt spannend, was Adam Aron jetzt für die Zukunft prognostiziert. Ja? Das wird spannend, was da rauskommt, denn ich glaube, viele Investoren, sowohl institutioneller als auch neue Retail-Investoren, werden sich eben auf das verlassen wollen, was Adam Aron in die Zukunft projiziert. Ja? Also das ist meistens viel spannender als das, was wir gefühlt schon vermutet haben. Also dass wir hier nicht unbedingt mit einem mit schwarzen Zahlen in dem Quartal rausgehen. Davon sind wir schon ausgegangen, denke ich, oder? Da sind wir uns alle eigentlich einig. So, so, wir sind 253 Teilnehmer hier im Livestream. Ihr seid alle recht herzlich eingeladen, den Kanal einmal gerne zu abonnieren. Da würde ich mich sehr freuen. Das würde mir helfen, dass der Kanal hier weiter wächst und gedeiht, nachhaltig und nicht geschortet wird vom Algorithmus. Ja. Bitte das Liken nicht vergessen. Und dann wollen wir mal gucken, was Adam Aron zu berichten hat. So. So, was sagt denn die Uhr eigentlich? 23 Uhr.
Free cash flow, operating cash burn, and operating cash generated, among others. For a full reconciliation of our non-GAAP measures to GAAP results, please see our earnings release posted in the Investor Relations section of our website earlier today. After our prepared remarks, there will be a question and answer session. This afternoon's webcast is being recorded, and a replay will be available in the Investor Relations section of our website at amctheaters.com later today. With that, I'll turn the call over to Adam.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, one and all, and thank you for joining us today. Let me add a very special welcome to the thousands of our individual shareholders who have been making it a habit to tune into these quarterly earnings webcasts for AMC Entertainment. 2022 marked another year of significant strategic, operational, and financial gains for AMC Entertainment. With our two announcements today on Q4 2022 earnings and of the launch of AMC Perfectly Popcorn at more than 2,600 U.S. Walmart stores, once again, AMC is demonstrating unmistakable progress along our multi-year pandemic recovery glide path. In my opinion, there are 5 reasons why AMC shareholders should be especially excited and smiling today. First, the increasing size of our industry as it recovers. Second, AMC's performance in Q4. Third, the fact that we are outperforming our competitors. Fourth, our agility in raising cash and reducing debt. And fifth, this morning's Walmart AMC Perfectly Popcorn announcement. First and overarching is the size of our industry itself, which is increasing. For 5 consecutive years prior to the pandemic, from 2015 to 2019, the domestic box office, which is all theaters, all brands across the United States and Canada, exceeded $11 billion. It was $11.4 billion in 2019. But then COVID came and brought our industry to its knees. And the 2020 domestic box office was only $2.2 billion. Down, as we all know, a breathtaking 82% year over year from the pre-pandemic level in 2019. Since then, our industry has seen a steady growth trajectory. The 2021 domestic box office was $4.5 billion, more than double that of 2020. And 2022's full year domestic box office of $7.4 billion was about 65% higher than 2021. The numbers again, $11.4 billion in 2019, falling to $2.2 billion, rising to $4.5 billion, rising to $7.4 billion. Based on the box office results so far in the first quarter of 2023, which is already up 44% year over year, combined with a much larger number of broader and deeper movie titles to be released in the coming quarters, based on what we know today, the 2023 domestic box office will almost certainly be significantly higher in 2023 than that of 2022. You all know that we finished 2022 and started 2023 on a very strong note with what is already the third highest grossing film of all time, James Cameron's epic sequel, Avatar: The Way of Water. It really is a testament to the genius of James Cameron that he is responsible for 3 of the 4 highest grossing movies in the history of cinema. I digress for a moment to say thank you, Jim Cameron, and thank you to your producing partner, John Landau. It won't surprise you both to hear that you both are greatly appreciated by AMC and by the millions of AMC shareholders and the millions of AMC moviegoers. Please, please, Jim and John, keep making more movies. Speaking of more movies, that's one of the key stories of the coming year, 2023. The incredible Tom Cruise's Top Gun: Maverick, which grossed more than $1.5 billion in movie theaters in 2022, and Avatar: The Way of Water, which has already grossed almost $2.3 billion in movie theaters in only 11 weeks, among many other successful movie releases, they all prove that moviegoers no longer are afraid to go to a cinema to watch a movie, as they once were afraid in the darkest days of 2020 at the height of the pandemic. Our problem now in generating attendance in theaters is quite different. Instead, it's simply that Hollywood has been releasing fewer movies of late. Depending upon how you count, the number of major movies released in 2022 was somewhere between a third and a half fewer than the total number of such major films released in 2019 before the pandemic. Fortunately, now, finally, that is all changing. We currently estimate that 30 or more movies will gross more than $100 million domestically in 2023. That compared with only 18 doing so in the just completed 2022. That is an increase in 2023 of about 75% of the number of movie titles grossing $100 million or more. Let me repeat that. We are expecting in 2023 about a 75% increase in the number of major movie titles grossing $100 million or more compared to last year. The second reason for our enthusiasm is that AMC posted much improved results for the fourth quarter of 2022. Naturally, we're pleased that AMC Entertainment easily bested consensus estimates for Q4 2022 revenue and for Q4 2022 adjusted EBITDA, as well as posting a beat on adjusted net income and EPS for 2022 Q4 after excluding for non-cash impairment write-offs. We are similarly encouraged that Q4 2022 revenue per patron of $19.98 was well above pre-pandemic levels, thanks to rising ticket prices and the consumers' continued predilection to indulge more at our concession stands in our high-margin food and beverage business. AMC's full year 2022 results represented our strongest year since pre-pandemic 2019, with 2022 results improving over 2021, which in turn were better than those of 2020. Indeed, in full year 2022, AMC saw our annual revenue increase by more than 54% year over year, and our adjusted EBITDA improved in a single year by more than $338 million versus 2021. That's an enormous increase. The third reason we are smiling today is that as the world's largest theater chain, we are outrunning our competitors. Number 2, Regal Cineworld, is in bankruptcy court because they essentially ran out of cash in September. By contrast, AMC has been masterful in raising equity as needed, and we ended 2022 with over $840 million of cash in the bank, or undrawn revolving credit lines. As for number 3 operator Cinemark, we encourage you to look at the Q4 metrics where we overlap in the United States. Average ticket price, AMC, $12.22, Cinemark, only $10 even, $12.22, $10. Food and beverage per patron, AMC, $7.76, Cinemark, $7.43. Total revenues per patron, AMC, $21.85, Cinemark, $19.35. Film exhibition costs, and this is one where you want the number to be low, not high. AMC, our film exhibition costs were 51% of our admissions revenues. At Cinemark, it was 58%. Our fourth marker of progress at AMC has been our ability to strengthen our liquidity profile and balance sheet. Over the last 12 months, AMC has raised approximately $314 million in gross cash proceeds, and we've also reduced the aggregate principal balance of our debt by approximately $390 million since the beginning of 2022. And as for that fifth reason for smiles today, the exciting popcorn announcement this morning, we are launching with Walmart. What an enormous vote of confidence that's coming to AMC from the largest retailer in the United States in the quality and consumer appeal of our new microwave and ready-to-eat popcorn. I'll come back to that and other essential topics after I return, but right now let's pass the call over to Sean Goodman, our CFO, to review our financial and operating results in more detail. Sean?
Thanks, Adam, and thanks to everyone for joining us this afternoon. 2022 was a year of growth and recovery for AMC. During the year, we welcomed 201 million guests to our theaters around the world. That's a 56% increase compared to 2021, and it's 72 million more guests than in 2021. This attendance improvement, coupled with strong admissions and food and beverage revenue per guest, translated into a $1.384 billion increase in consolidated revenue, representing a 54.7% increase compared to 2021. And likewise, 2022 adjusted EBITDA improved by more than $338 million to a positive $46.6 million. This compares to a loss of $291.7 million in 2021. Clearly, our recovery is continuing in earnest. Now, looking specifically at the fourth quarter of 2022 compared to the same period last year, the North American box office declined by 14.5% to $1.8 billion. And this was due to the relative strength of Spider-Man No Way Home in 2021 and the limited number of new titles available for release in October and November of 2022. Our fourth quarter consolidated revenue declined by $181 million, or 15.4% to $991 million. However, on a constant currency basis, consolidated revenue declined by 12.4% as we outperformed the overall industry because of strong operating performance metrics. For the fourth quarter, on a constant currency basis, total consolidated revenue per patron was $20.69. This is approximately 5.4% higher than the fourth quarter of 2021. And this was driven by admissions revenue per patron growth of 5.1% and food and beverage revenue per patron growth of 7.8%. It is worth noting that consolidated constant currency revenue per patron in Q4 of 2022 was 30.8% higher than pre-pandemic in 2019, indicative of the tremendous growth in revenue per patron during our recovery period. Domestic revenue in Q4 declined by 10.7%, with admissions revenue per patron increasing by 6.2%, to $12.22, and food and beverage revenue per patron increasing by 7.7% to $7.76. In addition, other revenue per patron increased by 6.3%. In the international business, on a constant currency basis, revenue in Q4 declined by 16.6%, with admissions revenue per patron increasing by 2.2% to $10.70, and food and beverage revenue per patron increasing by 7.4% to $4.98. Other revenue per patron decreased by 8.8% as theater rental revenue generated during 2021 was replaced by regular admissions and food and beverage revenue. We continue to generate strong growth in revenue per patron as our guests enjoy our innovative food and beverage offerings, including movie theater themed cocktails and collectible items. Our initiatives to optimize admissions revenue, including blockbuster pricing, are yielding positive results, and the increased adoption of our industry-leading AMC app and our marketing initiatives are all helping to drive overall revenue per patron growth. And this growth is further supported by increased premium format, or PLF, penetration, with PLF attendance representing 25.5% of domestic attendance in Q4 2022 compared to 19.8% in Q4 of 2021. And in our international markets, premium format attendance represented 18% of attendance compared to 10.7% in the fourth quarter of 2021. So clearly guests are increasingly appreciating the premium experience offered by our IMAX, Dolby, and AMC Prime offerings. Looking forward, we will maintain our focus on the guest experience that supports the strength of our key performance metrics, including 1, ongoing enhancement of our loyalty programs and the functionality of the AMC app. 2, innovative food and beverage offerings. 3, investing in providing the best possible sight and sound experiences through advanced laser projection technology and premium offerings such as IMAX, Dolby, and AMC Prime. And 4, growing revenue through diversification initiatives such as retail popcorn, the AMC credit card, renting out our theaters during off-peak times, marketing, and promotional initiatives. All of the above to be achieved while paying very close attention to our overall operating efficiency. Let's talk about the balance sheet now. We ended the quarter with liquidity of $843 million, comprised of $632 million of cash and cash equivalents and $211 million of undrawn credit facilities. During the fourth quarter, net cash used in operating activities was $33.3 million, and we achieved positive non-GAAP operating cash generated of $57.5 million. And we define operating cash generated as cash from operating activities plus total capital expenditures before debt servicing costs and before deferred rent payback. During 2022, we were active in the capital markets as we took actions to strengthen our balance sheet. In total, in 2022, we raised $229 million of gross equity capital. We refinanced $1.4 billion of debt. We extended certain debt maturities through to 2026 and beyond. And we repurchased $123.5 million of debt at an average discount of 43.7%. The net result is a $220 million reduction in the principal amount of interest-bearing debt outstanding during 2022. And during 2022, we also strengthened our balance sheet by repaying approximately $158 million of deferred rent. And this reduced our deferred rent balance to $157.2 million at December 31, 2022. You may recall that back in March of 2021, this deferred rent balance was more than $470 million. So over the last 21 months, we have lowered our deferred rent liability by approximately $313 million. All told, if we include the decrease in deferred rent, we reduced our liabilities by a total of $378 million in 2022. And in addition to that, so far in the first quarter of 2023, we have raised another $84.7 million of gross equity proceeds. And we have reduced the principal balance of our debt outstanding by an additional $170.2 million through the exchange of debt into equity and capitalizing on opportunities to repurchase debt at a discount. These actions in the first quarter of 2023 so far take our total debt reduction to $548 million when we include the reduction in deferred rent liabilities, and our total equity capital so far raised to $314 million. Note that during 2023, we plan to further reduce the deferred rent balance by another $75 to $100 million, and this will reduce the liability to approximately $60 to $80 million by the end of 2023. Regarding capital allocation, our priorities remain unchanged. 1, we need to maintain sufficient liquidity to manage through the recovery phase of our business. 2, we need to strengthen our balance sheet by extending debt maturities, reducing debt, and reducing associated interest costs. 3, invest in our business to continue to enhance the guest experience. And 4, opportunistically pursue value-enhancing initiatives, including those that lead to diversification of our business and revenue streams. Having the flexibility to raise equity capital allows us to opportunistically take critical actions to strengthen our balance sheet and at the same time successfully navigate through the ongoing recovery of our industry. For these reasons, I would like to take this opportunity to urge shareholders to vote in favor of the proposals that will be voted on at the upcoming shareholder meeting on March 14th. These proposals are designed to protect the long-term value of AMC equity and provide us with the flexibility necessary to ensure a successful recovery from the ongoing impact of the COVID pandemic. Our capital expenditure, net of landlord contributions, was $69 million in the fourth quarter of 2022, and we finished the year with a total net capex spend of $182.1 million. And similar to 2022, looking towards 2023, we expect our capital expenditure to be in the range of $150 to $200 million. Actively managing our theater portfolio continues to be a priority as we add new high-performing locations and eliminate low performers, all with the goal of improving our guest satisfaction and enhancing our overall profitability. During the fourth quarter, we added 5 new theaters and we closed 9. This brings the total number of locations closed since the pandemic began to 115, and the total new locations opened to 54 for a net reduction of 61 locations. The combined 54 new locations continue to substantially outperform the 115 closed locations prior to their closings, and they also are outperforming our underwriting expectations. Looking forward, we're optimistic about the future and the opportunities to strengthen and diversify our business while continuing to enhance our financial position. So with that, I'll hand the call back over to Adam to review some exciting recent announcements and provide an update on our strategic initiatives, including our upcoming stockholder meeting. Adam.
Thank you, Sean. As I said at the top of the call, at AMC we're all smiles today, but by no means are we out of the woods yet. We will need to remain smart and action-oriented to successfully chart our way through what are still COVID-impacted waters. But clearly, we have been and are now making great progress. And while we have much more work ahead of us still, my ongoing conversations with our studio partners, including some as recently as this weekend, buoys my optimism that more movies are indeed headed to theaters and that the value of theatrical exhibition is clearly recognized and internalized by the heads of every single major studio. As the leader of AMC, I am proud that we have resiliently weathered many a storm over the past 36 months. A storm first of the virus itself, then the threat to exclusive theatrical windows. More recently, the conviction held by some that streaming services would win out over theaters, and all through it was the concern that there would not be enough cash in the coffers for AMC to outlast all that we had to stare down. What's more, there was the added complexity for us of doing something well that few, if any, companies ever thought about before: how to adjust to a whole new cadre of millions of individual shareholders taking ownership of our company. Fortunately for us, the people who predicted that we could not weather the storms were all wrong. And more fortunately for us, those new retail investors turned out to be the saviors of our company. Their passion for AMC saved our company as they provided us with the cash resources we needed to survive. They also flooded us with some truly great ideas, including one of my personal favorites, that we should sell popcorn to the home market in what is, after all, a multi-billion-dollar category. This morning's exciting news announcement that the retail launch of AMC's microwave and ready-to-eat perfectly popcorn is at hand, and exclusively with the nation's largest retailer, Walmart. It keeps a promise to do so that I made 16 months ago to our shareholders, and it's yet another example of AMC's powerful commitment to innovation. Beginning on March 11, just ahead of the Oscars telecast on March 12, AMC's ready-to-eat popcorn will be available exclusively at hundreds of Walmart locations on much sought-after featured end cap displays. In the weeks that follow, AMC Perfectly Popcorn will hit the shelves again exclusively at more than 2,600 Walmart stores in the United States, with 3 varieties of ready-to-eat popcorn in the following flavors: classic butter, extra butter, and for those seeking a lower sodium solution, lightly salted. The ready-to-eat varieties are expected to be priced at $3.98 per bag, plus tax, and they all offer the authentic taste of real AMC movie theater popcorn to be enjoyed anywhere. Then, our microwave AMC Perfectly Popcorn will become available at Walmart. Again, in the same 3 flavors: classic butter, extra butter, lightly salted. And they are expected to retail for $4.98 plus tax for a 6-count box. As an added and unique benefit, the extra butter microwave boxes will include 6 packets of additional buttery topping that eaters at home can use to slather all over their popcorn, truly replicating that ultimate AMC movie theater popcorn experience. This first-of-its-kind approach by a theatrical exhibitor to distribute ready-to-eat and microwave popcorn at retail outlets all across the country further differentiates AMC as the undisputed leader in this industry and greatly extends the visibility of the AMC brand. Another idea that came to us from our investors was to sell AMC and movie-themed merchandise. We are doing so now across the United States and online. As every major movie releases, as every big tentpole releases, we have something themed for that film. And it's but one of many such examples of success here are, if you can believe it, Ant-Man popcorn helmets have been quite popular, selling almost $2 million worth in less than 2 weeks. This has proven to be such a successful concept that we're about to launch the same activity across our theaters in Europe. Thank you, retail shareholders, for the idea. Next on the innovation docket is the launch of our new co-branded AMC Entertainment Visa card, coming soon to a wallet or a purse near you. It's been designed to drive increased AMC brand loyalty, along with incremental attendance to our AMC theaters, and should generate attractive financial returns with very little risk to boot. And finally, we recently announced a potentially important development. We announced that we are testing sightline seating at AMC in some of our theaters in New York, Chicago, and Kansas City. New York and Chicago because they're big cities in the United States, Kansas City because we're headquartered here and we ourselves want to walk into our theaters and talk to our guests and gauge their reactions directly and firsthand. The test is being done for a potential nationwide rollout later in 2023. With sightline seating, as you know if you saw the release, we are charging a slight premium for the most popular seats in an auditorium, but discounting the prices of less popular seats closer to the screen up front. This is in line with how other sellers price their seats for live theater, for concerts, for sporting events. It's also how we've been pricing movie theater tickets in Europe for many years. We do understand, however, that this is a substantial change to the status quo for U.S. moviegoers, so we'll be watching very closely how moviegoers react to the changes that are being tested right now. We will report back to you in future calls what we're seeing in the tests, and we look forward to this thing working well for the benefit both of our moviegoing public and for AMC. AMC's ability to continue to raise capital during our ongoing recovery makes all these potentially transformative innovations and new actions possible, and it is crucial to our future success. To that end, I'd like to utilize the remainder of my formal remarks today to discuss the upcoming March 14 special stockholders meeting and the importance of the proposals on which our shareholders are already voting. Last August, we issued 516,800,000 APE preferred equity units as a dividend to holders of our AMC common shares on a one-for-one basis. The primary goals of issuing the APE dividend was to provide AMC with a new currency that could be used to strengthen our balance sheet by generating cash, bolstering our liquidity, to reduce our debt, and to allow us to grow. And that is precisely what the APE units have done. Since September of 2022, the creation of APE units resulted in AMC successfully raising $314 million of gross cash proceeds and allowed us to reduce the principal balance of our debt by more than $221 million, most of which was profitably repurchased at a substantial discount. Indeed, AMC is unequivocally a stronger company today as a result of the creation of the APE dividend, and it's allowing us to raise cash and reduce debt. I might add that came amidst a lot of press speculation that we'd be unsuccessful in doing so. To the naysayers and doomtellers, you know what I say. Choke on that. However, despite having the same economic and voting rights as our AMC common shares, APE preferred equity units have consistently traded at a mysterious and substantial discount to AMC common shares. This discount creates inefficiencies that increases our cost of capital and causes unnecessary and preventable dilution. So, after careful thought, the AMC Board of Directors is presenting important proposals for shareholders to vote on at the upcoming special meeting on March 14, 2022. These proposals are designed to protect the long-term value of a shareholder's investment in AMC while still providing AMC with the flexibility necessary to continue along our recovery trajectory in a challenging environment. As you already know, the two key proposals are 1, increase the number of authorized AMC common shares from 524 million to 550 million and combine the AMC common shares and 8 preferred units. Second, to effect a reverse stock split of 1 share for every 10, which together with the increase in authorized common shares permits that automatic conversion of 8 units into AMC common stock. Our board and I strongly believe that it's in the best interest now of AMC shareholders to convert 8 units into AMC common shares, thereby simplifying our capital structure and eliminating the gap between the prices of 8 units and of AMC shares. As AMC's single largest individual shareholder, with millions of AMC shares and 8 units, I have a vested interest in the outcome of this election because my net worth rises as AMC strengthens and my net worth falls as AMC gets weaker. I currently own outright some 3.7 million AMC shares or 8 units and have a further economic interest in an additional 4.5 million 8 units or AMC shares as a result of granted but unvested stock. In total, I have some 8.2 million AMC shares or AMC units. You know what that means? It means that my interests are directly aligned with those of our shareholders. I am not some hedge fund plant or Trojan horse, as a few of the more bizarre conspiracy theories go. I'm on the side of the retail investor because I am myself a retail investor. And I'd like to share with you the 7 reasons why I have voted yes, voting for the proposals that are being recommended by the board. Before I do so, however, I should point out that litigation has been brought in the Delaware Court of Chancery attempting to block our shareholder proposals and your right to vote on them. We believe such litigation is without merit, that our actions have been totally lawful and consistent with our charter, and we will vigorously defend our position in this matter. The court has ordered that the March 14 vote shall take place on schedule, but that any implementation action resulting from the vote be held in abeyance until the court rules on the substance of the claims being made. So the vote is on, and it is on now. I urge our shareholders to vote now so that your voice can be heard. And because I think it's the right thing for me to do and for you to do, I urge you to vote for the proposals with me. Here's why. First, a more resilient AMC. Having the flexibility to efficiently and opportunistically tap both the equity and debt capital markets results in a more resilient company. Were it not for our ability to have raised both equity and debt over the past 3 years, AMC would not have survived the pandemic that caused a material decline in our business activity. Second, reduce capital raising inefficiencies associated with 8 units trading at a discount to AMC shares. Converting 8 units to AMC shares will result in a single price for all AMC equity. This single price eliminates the inefficiency inherent in the discount between 8 units and AMC common stock and will allow AMC to more efficiently raise equity capital at the most attractive terms in the future. Third, enhance the ability to raise cash and increase liquidity. Well, I believe AMC is currently in a strong liquidity position with more than $840 million of available liquidity at the end of December 22, the ability to efficiently raise additional liquidity when needed has proven to be critical for this company in the past. And depending upon the path and timing of recovery, may be critical to our survival again in the future. Fourth, strengthen AMC's balance sheet. AMC's balance sheet is expected to strengthen over time as the box office grows. At the same time, as we have demonstrated in recent months, there continue to be attractive opportunities for us to use available equity or equity proceeds to buy back debt or exchange debt for equity at a discount to face value, which greatly benefits shareholders. Fifth, simplify ownership in AMC. Consolidating ownership of AMC into one single class for all shareholders eliminates the added complexity that some brokerages have imposed on their clients in the holding or trading of our preferred equity securities. In addition, the single class of equity eliminates the potential for hedge funds or other investors to engage in arbitrage trading strategies between the APE and AMC securities. Sixth, position AMC to transform into a stronger, more diversified company. A single equity class will better allow us to pursue attractive shareholder value creation opportunities, to diversify and to transform our business. And last, seventh, create long-term value for AMC. A vote for the resolutions is a vote in favor of the long-term value of AMC. Since we announced our intention to hold a shareholder vote to convert APE units into AMC shares, the total equity value of our company has increased. The other matter of consequence being discussed at the March 14 shareholder meeting is the 1-for-10 reverse stock split. So let me quickly address that topic. If you have 10 $1 bills in your pocket and you exchange them for one $10 bill, you still have $10 either way. If you would have 10 $10 bills in your pocket and you exchange them for one $100 bill, you'd still have $100 either way. This reverse split in and of itself should be neutral. However, for a variety of reasons, including the technical listing rules of stock exchanges, we think it's unwise for our shares to be trading at levels in the single digits. The reverse split also creates room to allow for the full conversion of APEs into common stock, which we also think is a good idea for each of you, as I previously explained, and creates the capacity for common stock to be issued as equity in the future. In my view, I believe that there's no compelling argument why our shareholders should generally be averse to a reverse stock split. As I stated earlier, having the flexibility to continue to raise capital as we navigate through our recovery is crucial to AMC's future success and has thus far kept us from the fate of several of our competitors who have been forced to seek bankruptcy protection. Were we to be somehow deprived of this cash-raising capability, our future may not nearly be so bright as it appears currently. Indeed, our future could turn quite bleak in just a blink of an eye. I cannot emphasize enough that while things are looking up now, our success could literally vaporize in an instant if we misstep. The reason we have succeeded to date is that, in our opinion, we have threaded the needle perfectly heretofore during this pandemic. But make no mistake, the need to continue to thread the needle perfectly going forward is unchanged at AMC Entertainment. Fortunately, we're pretty good at this, and we've been at it a while, and we know what we're doing. I know I have about 3 or 4 million friends out there who like to give me advice, but I'd like to remind you we've done a pretty good job of stewarding this company during tough times. Avoiding a dire fate is a commitment that I personally made to our shareholders in the earliest days of this global pandemic, when our revenues went to zero overnight and stayed there for months. I remain steadfast in that commitment to you today. Every action that AMC has taken is in direct support of that commitment, despite what the naysayers or the short sellers or those who wish us harm would have you believe. Our mission now is clear. And it's the same exact cause that so many of our shareholders joined and embraced way back in the dark days of 2020 and early 2021. You all remember the hashtag, SaveAMC. That's the report for Q4 2022. Sean, let's now move to questions, both from our industry analysts and from our shareholders.
Great, thanks, Adam. Let's start with some questions from our shareholders. There are a number of questions coming through about the upcoming shareholder vote that we just spoke about. Here's a good example. What are the implications if the vote passes? And what are the implications if the vote does not pass?
So if the vote passes, it's my expectation that this ridiculous gap between the price of an ape and the price of an AMC share will go away. And when I say it's a ridiculous gap, folks are the same thing. They have the same economic rights. They have the same voting rights. Why should an ape be trading at a third the price of a common share or a seventh of the price of a common share as it was just 2 months ago? If the vote passes, I think what you'll find is that this discounting of the ape goes away. What that means is that we'll be able to raise capital on, in my opinion, more attractive terms. Similarly, what will happen if the vote passes is there'll be a 1 to 10 reverse stock split. So you'll stop seeing the share price of AMC floating around $3 or $4 or $5 a share. The simple math is it should multiply by 10. Where it goes from there, up or down, that's a function of market dynamics. But it is simple math. You'll be trading 10 shares for one, which mathematically should be priced 10 times higher. If the votes that we're voting on at this shareholder meeting do not pass, it's true that the reverse split won't happen. But what is true is that the status quo doesn't change, which means that there still will be apes and there still will be AMC shares. The apes will continue to trade at a discount, I would guess. No one has a perfect crystal ball, but that's been the experience since August. And since our ability to raise capital is tied only to the price of the ape, if the ape continues to exist, it would seem that we wouldn't be blocked from raising capital, but we'd be raising capital on much less attractive terms. It would cause more dilution of the stock that is entirely 100% preventable if a majority of our shareholders vote yes.
So here's another question related to this. It's related to the reverse stock split. And basically it says, why do we need to do a reverse stock split? Can't we just convert ape units into AMC without doing this reverse stock split?
We could, but as I said in my earlier remarks, the share price would hover in the single digits. And there are certain technical listing rules on stock exchanges. We don't think it's a good idea for our stock to be trading in single digits. And since we're going to have a shareholder vote anyway, it seemed logical to us to resolve both questions at the same time. It's expensive to call these special meetings of shareholders. It costs millions of dollars to do so. We'd rather get them both done now than have to deal with a reverse stock split at some point in the future.
We have a number of shareholders asking about their proxy materials. One example here is, I have not yet received my proxy materials from my broker. What do I need to do to be able to vote, to get my proxy materials and be able to vote?
As Bill Clinton famously said in the 1990s, for those of you who are old enough to remember the 1990s, I feel your pain. My AMC shares and APE units are at 4 brokerage firms, and I've received the voting materials from 3 of the 4 firms, but not the 4th. So if you have not heard from your broker, you should do what I'm about to do. Call them. Explain to them that there is a March 14 shareholder vote, that you own shares or units, and that you'd like to cast your vote, and they should get you a proxy. If your broker is not acting in response to your question quickly enough, email or call our proxy solicitor, D.F. King. You can reach them at an email address, amc@dfking.com, amc@dfking.com. Their phone number is 800-859-8511. All the information I just gave is for our U.S. shareholders, probably our Canadian shareholders, and international shareholders in many countries. But we are all aware, painfully, that the brokerage firms in some countries, especially in Europe, do not facilitate shareholder voting. And if you're with one of those firms, there's not much you can do other than put your shares in a different broker who would allow you to vote at future shareholder meetings.
And there's a question here about the lawsuit that you mentioned in your prepared remarks. It says it has been reported that AMC is defending against 2 lawsuits relating to the issuance of APE units. Is this true, and can you elaborate?
Yes, litigation's been filed. We think it's misguided. We believe that all the actions we've taken are lawful. We think we have the merits in this case. It's consistent with our charter. We will defend our position vigorously, and we are encouraged that the Delaware Court of Chancery has allowed this March 14 vote to proceed on schedule.
There's some questions here about our loyalty programs, and I'll just read a few of them to you. Does AMC have any plans to revise loyalty programs and A-list memberships? For example, what about family memberships, partnerships with streaming companies, maybe a lower price for memberships with restrictions to limit frequency of attendance, etc.?
So those are all good questions and good ideas. We have been and are studying them all. The 2 of the most important marketing programs we have are AMC Stubs and especially AMC Stubs A-List. About half of our total clientele in the United States participates in Stubs, and about 15% of our total activity in the United States comes from A-List members. These are very important programs. We're constantly reviewing them for possible changes and improvements. There's nothing immediately on the horizon that would change either program other than AMC Visa Entertainment card that's going to be added, an AMC Entertainment Visa card, yeah, I said it right. AMC Entertainment Visa card that'll be coming as part of the Stubs program that will allow Stubs members to earn even more Stubs points, both when they spend at our theaters and when they spend away from our theaters. But keep the good ideas flowing. We continue to think hard about what's the best way for AMC to approach the movie-going public.
Question about our theater footprint. Does AMC plan on opening new theaters in areas such as perhaps South Carolina or other states where AMC has a limited presence?
I can't make a specific comment about South Carolina, but at least South Carolina has one of our theaters. We have none in Hawaii. We have none in Alaska. We have none in Mississippi. I don't think we're in Vermont. But we do have the largest national footprint of any operator. I think we're in 43 or 44 states on the District of Columbia. We have a sizable market share in the largest cities all across the country. Plus, we have a big platform of theaters, even in smaller rural markets. We're always looking to add theaters, and you said earlier in the call, Sean, that we closed over 100 theaters that were not performing during the pandemic, but we opened up 54 new ones. And the 54 new ones were producing to the bottom line far more than the 100 that we closed. I think 10 of the 54 probably produced far more EBITDA than the 100 that we closed. So we're always looking to grow. We can grow by adding new build theaters from the ground up, or there's also the opportunity for us to inexpensively add into our system theaters that may have been opened by other operators who have faltered during the pandemic. Several firms declared for bankruptcy over the last 3 years and shed a lot of theaters. And we picked up a bunch. As you know, we picked up about a third of the ArcLight circuit, which was headquartered in Los Angeles. We picked up more than half of the Bowtie circuit that was headquartered in Connecticut. Our eyes continue to be wide open. I do believe that there will be a continued opportunity for AMC to add theater locations quite inexpensively. And I might add, to do so sometimes requires money, which is why it was so very helpful to us that we have raised over $300 million of cash from August through January. The more cash in the bank, the easier it is to make the decision to add theaters and grow.
There is a huge amount of interest in the retail launch of AMC Perfectly Popcorn. Let me read to you just a few of the questions. Can you talk more about the opportunity for AMC in retail popcorn? When will AMC Popcorn be available in the US nationwide? Will AMC Popcorn be available to purchase online through the AMC website? Will AMC Popcorn be available to purchase in Canada and maybe in Europe?
That's a lot of questions. Yes, the enthusiasm and excitement for AMC Perfectly Popcorn at home is real. I see it on Twitter. When I look at the readership of the tweets I've been putting out recently on popcorn, they're sky high. The likes are sky high. The retweets are sky high. The comments back to me, every single one of which I read, by the way. I got like 4,000 or 5,000 inbound messages on the popcorn tweets recently, and I read them all. Boy, they make me excited because you're excited about it. We launched March 11th, Oscar weekend, with end cap displays at Walmart. They're almost impossible to get, and Walmart volunteered them up to us because they're excited about popcorn. And by late April, we'll be at more than 2,600 Walmart stores. That's more than half of all Walmart locations in the United States. We will have a website where you'll be able to go to find out at what locations you'll be able to actually pick up boxes of microwave popcorn or bags of ready-to-eat popcorn. We are going to sell on Walmart.com, which of course is nationwide. I would expect it will sell on AMC Theaters.com. We're discussing whether or not we should sell microwave boxes of popcorn at our theaters. It's all new. We haven't started yet, and the interest level is very high. This is a nice position to be in when you're launching a new product. Let's put it this way. We're setting up our production plants to make millions of bags and microwave pouches of popcorn. We think this is a big opportunity for us. Right now, we're going to launch only in the United States. Canada is a possibility. If we did it in Europe, we would probably not do it under the AMC brand. We would do it under one of the Odeon brands. Our cinemas operate with their own distinct brands in several countries across Europe. But right now, you crawl before you walk before you run. We're going to start in the United States and see where it goes from there.
Thanks, Adam. We continue to receive a very large number of really terrific suggestions from our retail investors, business ideas to grow and diversify and build on the business. And I want to say that we as a management team, review these, we investigate these. So please, investors, please keep these ideas coming. I think with that...
Let me just respond to that.
Sure.
What an oddity, a company that actually listens to its investors. How about that for a change? Yes, sir. You want to go to a question from an analyst, maybe?
No questions.
We're already running a little bit long, but if on this call today, but if any investor wants to ask, go ahead.
Operator, we can go to questions from analysts.
Thank you very much. We will now be taking live questions. If you'd like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. A confirmation tone will indicate your line is in the question queue. You may press star 2 if you'd like to remove your question from the queue. For participants using speaker equipment, it may be necessary to pick up your handset before pressing the star keys. So we have time for only one question, and we take question from the line of Eric Wold with B. Riley Securities. Please go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Adam and Sean. I appreciate it. I guess as much as I'm looking forward to the popcorn business being a separately reported segment, I have a couple questions on the core, the theater business. I guess first off,
hey Eric, not to interrupt, but you know what you're going to like more than how we report the popcorn results? Eating the popcorn. It's really good. We actually worked for a full year on the flavor profile of these products. They are really great.
I'm looking forward to enjoying it with the Oscars. On the Sightline seating plan or program, I guess obviously it makes sense given what we've seen with other entertainment businesses. I guess what are your thoughts on where you see the biggest benefit coming from? Is it the premium on the better seats? Is it filling up the less desirable seats now that they're priced lower? Or is it that loyalty members don't pay the premium seat charges? Is the benefit driving more loyalty membership into that program?
And the answer is all of the above. You've got the three benefits of the concept, right? We can discount up front, we can charge a slight premium in the middle, and we don't charge when I say the middle, the dead center of the auditorium where most people want to sit. And if we don't charge that premium and impose it on A-listers, that's just another big value increase for A-list members, which should make more people want to be A-list members. So all three have the ability to drive improvement. And some people have looked at this as a price increase, which of course it is on day one. But what's really interesting is that we are in inflationary times. And inflationary times cause cost to rise. And without making any comment about what AMC is going to do, because it's not legal to talk about pricing prospectively, but companies facing inflationary pressures tend to raise prices, not talking about AMC. Under the pre-Sightline structure of our industry, if we wanted to raise a price in a theater, the only choice we had was to raise the price on all the seats in the theater. And so what's one of the many benefits of Sightline, other than the three that you mentioned, are that if we feel the need to raise prices, we might only do it in the most popular seats in the auditorium and actually hold the line and not raise prices on other seats in the auditorium. So it's actually a way of, well, it is a way of increasing the price now. It's a potential way of preventing a price increase later on. And then there is, in fact, the opportunity to discount up front. I'm telling you, I've been looking at what we call heat maps, which are what seats are booked for a particular movie. And nobody sits in row 1 in a movie theater. It just doesn't happen. It could be opening night of Star Wars. Every seat in the auditorium in row 3 to 18 is booked solid, and row 1 is empty. And it really is, there is a possibility here that by discounting the price up front, we might be able to expand the movie-going market to more price-sensitive consumers.
Perfect. That's helpful, Adam. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the question and answer session, and I would like to turn the floor back over to Mr. Aron for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, operator. To everyone on the call, thank you for being with us today. Today was a good day for AMC. We reported results that were unexpectedly positive. We introduced our popcorn line, and we've had a lot of discussion about the importance of the March 14 shareholder meeting that will simplify and strengthen the capital structure of this company going forward. Thank you for joining us today. There are a lot of big movies coming out. We look forward to seeing you at our theaters sometime soon.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's teleconference. You may disconnect your lines at this time. Thank you for your participation.
Das war's vom Earnings Call. Jetzt dürft ihr ganz kurz mal in den Chat reinschreiben. Ich weiß nicht, ob ihr alles verstanden habt. Mich würde aber mal interessieren, wie ihr das aufgenommen habt. Ich muss gestehen, das hat sich so ein bisschen angefühlt wie so eine Werbeveranstaltung für den bevorstehenden Vote. Ja, da hat er mehr darüber gesprochen. Und die ganzen Neuerungen, die hier angesprochen worden sind, die kannten wir, glaube ich, alle schon. Also ob das jetzt nun das Popcorn-Thema ist, ob es die Visa-Karte ist, die AMC gebrandet, oder die variablen Preise für die Sitze, was ja auch durchaus Sinn ergibt, ja? Dass man irgendwie versucht, die ungeliebten Sitze günstig anzubieten. Aber ich muss gestehen, ich hätte mir da einfach einen klareren Ausblick gewünscht. Also hätte man ruhig mal vielleicht, wie soll ich sagen, man hätte ja mal ein Wort verlieren können zu dem gesamten adressierten Markt, vielleicht auch bei der Kreditkarte, dass man das mal greifen kann oder wie viel er glaubt, an Umsätzen generieren zu können. Also das war mir alles ein bisschen zu schwammig. Q4-Zahlen fand ich jetzt nicht so geil, aber wenn man das eben auf die Jahresperformance betrachtet, war das schon echt nicht verkehrt, was AMC da abgeliefert hat. Schreibt doch mal gerne kurz in den Chat rein, wie ihr das Ganze seht, ob ihr da vielleicht mit mir seid oder ob ich vielleicht einfach nur ein bisschen traurig bin, dass wir da jetzt hier nicht die krasse neue News bekommen haben. Ich weiß es nicht. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, was ich davon halten soll. Also so motivierend war jetzt das, was Adam Aron da kommuniziert hat, nicht. Klar, er hat da ein paar Sachen gesagt, die durchaus auch nachvollziehbar sind. Ja, ob es jetzt der Discount ist, dem Ape ausgesetzt war, dass das nicht nachvollziehbar ist und dass an der Stelle natürlich die Verwässerung von Ape ineffizient wäre, ja, was ja auch vollkommen verständlich ist. Nichtsdestotrotz hätte ich mir einfach gewünscht, dass der Ausblick noch klarer ist. Ja, also man sieht schon, dass AMC schon auf dem Weg der Erholung ist, ja, und auch die Bemühungen und Anstrengungen, die hier getätigt werden, die spiegeln auch genau das wider. Aber es war mir einfach nicht, sage ich mal, der Ausblick in die Zukunft war einfach nicht optimistisch genug, ja, zumindest nicht optimistisch genug dargestellt. Und zu beteuern, dass man doch der größte individuelle Aktionär ist und natürlich ein finanzielles, monetäres Interesse hat, dass der Aktienpreis geschützt ist, kennen wir auch schon alles. Aber ich fand das jetzt einfach neutral. Haben mir ein paar Key Facts gefehlt, die einfach einen klareren Ausblick in die Zukunft gebracht hätten. So, wollen wir mal gucken. So. ABT schreibt, ich verkaufe die Kacke morgen. Ja, auch deine Entscheidung kannst du gerne machen. Ob das jetzt die Lösung für das Problem ist, weiß ich nicht. Ich glaube eher nicht, aber ich lasse mich jetzt davon natürlich auch nicht runterziehen. Also am Ende des Tages steht und fällt jetzt, glaube ich, unserer Play nicht mit diesem einen Earnings Call. Und wenn wir uns den Preis im Pre-Market anschauen, der ist jetzt natürlich gut abverkauft worden. Na, wo ist er denn? Ne, hier ist er. Das ist er nicht. Das ist er. So. Ja, dann sehen wir, dass wir schon guten Abverkauf hatten von 8,54%. Das würde uns, wenn ich das auf den Tageschart einmal zurückbringe, würde uns das ziemlich genau auf die diagonale Trendlinie bringen. Mal gucken, ob wir die morgen halten können. Ich bin aber auch ehrlich, ich gebe der Aktivität im Pre-Market nicht ganz so viel Gewichtung, denn das hatte ich ja schon erklärt, wenn wir halt einfach keine Liquidität haben, ja, und ihr seht ja auch die Unterschiede zwischen dem gehandelten Volumen, wenn die Börse auf ist und wenn sie zu ist, dann fällt es natürlich so Protagonisten, die natürlich ein Auge darauf werfen, den Kurs zu drücken, um einiges leichter den Kurs auch nach unten zu bewegen, ja. Eichhoff hat es, glaube ich, geschrieben, so ein bisschen Stop-Loss-Fishing wird auch stattfinden. Also wer da einen Stop-Loss gesetzt hat in irgendeiner Form, der sollte den rausnehmen. Sonst wird er getriggert wahrscheinlich. Mal gucken. Bleibt auf jeden Fall spannend. Also was er auf jeden Fall kommuniziert hat, ist, dass sie definitiv versuchen, im Managementbereich das ganze Thema effizienter zu gestalten. Ja, allein die Tatsache, dass sie über 100 Kinos geschlossen haben und dafür etwas über 50 neue Kinos akquiriert, dazugeholt haben, die dann aber wesentlich effizienter laufen, ja, und mehr Umsatz generieren als die zuvor 100 geschlossenen. Also da sieht man, dass da schon alles dafür getan wird, dass sich diese Diskrepanz zwischen Einnahmen und Ausgaben stetig verbessern. Ja, also es passiert viel Gutes, wahrscheinlich nicht so viel, als dass wir hier alle freudeschreiend durch die Gegend rennen. Aber nach wie vor glaube ich, dass wir auf einem guten Weg sind. Ja, aber ja, wie gesagt, ihr müsst da bitte eure Entscheidung treffen, wie ihr damit umgehen wollt. Ich weiß, was ich tun werde. Wie gesagt, ich habe heute schon ein bisschen nachgekauft an Ape und ich glaube, jetzt gerade ist der Ape-Preis im Pre-Market genau da, wo ich im offenen Markt gekauft habe. Aber mal gucken. Vielleicht kriegen wir in den nächsten Quartalen, wenn es dann März, April wirklich mit den Popcorn-Sales losgeht und die Visa-Karte dann auch wirklich gedruckt wurde, beziehungsweise an die US-amerikanischen Bürger ausgegeben worden ist, werden wir dort vielleicht auch noch mehr Informationen zu den Umsätzen sehen, die dort generiert werden konnten. Ja? Also das ist so eine Sache, die interessiert mich schon sehr. Ja? So neue Umsatzquellen sind schon interessant und jetzt kann ich es gerade noch nicht greifen. ABT schreibt, kaufe Mallen dafür morgen, viel Spaß damit. Noch eine Pleitebude, wenn du dir die reinholen möchtest, viel Spaß damit. So. Edin Hasanbegovic schreibt, vielleicht sollte Adam Aron auch mal auf sein Gehalt verzichten, bis es wieder läuft, wäre ein gutes Signal. Weiß ja nicht, ob er das machen sollte. Also, was er ja schon signalisiert hat, ist, dass dass die Manager auf die Stock-Based Compensation verzichtet haben, ja, also auf den Bonus, den sie bekommen. Aber ich weiß nicht, ob das so sinnvoll ist, dass jemand, der arbeitet, auf seinen Lohn verzichten soll. Ich weiß nicht, ob das so cool ist. Sarah Pepita schreibt, es gab keine schlechten Nachrichten, weiß gar nicht, was gejammert wird. Vielleicht sind einige auch zu sensationsgeil. Ja, weiß ich nicht. Vielleicht ist einfach die Erwartungshaltung sehr groß gewesen. Ich bin nach wie vor, wie gesagt, also die Zahlen sind jetzt nicht überragend schlecht, sie sind auch nicht überragend gut. Ich hätte mir nur gewünscht, dass er eine klarere Aussicht, ja, und mit Zahlen, Daten, Fakten in die Zukunft gibt. Das hat er ja letztes Quartal gemacht, wo er darüber gesprochen hat, wie sich die Entwicklung der Filme, also die Produktion neuer Filme und wie sich der Umsatz dort steigern könnte, ja, also wie die Wachstumserwartung ist. Das hat mir dieses Mal halt gänzlich gefehlt. Ja. So. Aber gut, dass ihr euren Optimismus nicht verloren habt. Der ein oder andere fühlt sich motiviert, nachzukaufen. HF schreibt von 8,40 $ auf 6,40 $. Es ist, wie es ist. Wie gesagt, kann schon morgen auch komplett wieder anders aussehen. Pre-Market ist halt leider ein bisschen tricky immer. Ja. So. So, ihr Lieben, gibt es noch eine Frage von eurer Seite oder irgendwas, was ihr jetzt hier noch gerne mit uns teilen wollt, also mit der ganzen Community? Eichhoff schreibt, kaufe, wenn Aktien grün sind und verkaufe, wenn rot. So macht man sicher Geld. Ja, gerne nicht dafür. Also ich danke euch und danke von Herzen, dass ihr den Marathon mit mir durchgemacht habt. Ja. Wir sehen uns in alter Frische, heute ist Dienstag, wir sehen uns in alter Frische am am Donnerstag. Wenn ihr Zeit, Bock und Lust habt, ihr seid recht herzlich auf den Finanzen verstehen Gilded-Server eingeladen. Ja, der Workshop, der war ja ein voller Erfolg, hat mir mega Spaß gemacht. Danke auch an alle, die dort teilgenommen haben am letzten Trading-Workshop. Schaut auch gerne mal in den Gilded-Server rein vom Finanzen verstehen. Und dort findet ihr alles rund ums Thema Trading, Aktien, Krypto, Makroökonomie und so weiter. Ja, da bin ich doch viel aktiver. Guckt da gerne rein, den Link findet ihr in der Beschreibung, ihr Lieben. So, ich bin jetzt hier an der Stelle erstmal raus. Freue mich, euch in der Masse am Donnerstag wiederzusehen, wenn es neue News gibt. Und wenn ihr es noch nicht getan habt, bitte seid so lieb, lasst noch ein Like da. Und abonniert den Kanal, so unterstützt ihr mich so ein bisschen, dass das hier organisch weiter wachsen kann. Fühlt euch gedrückt, ihr Lieben, und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Stream. Bis dann. Ciao, ciao.